everybody loves to root for the underdog. But the truth is, eventually, you won't be an underdog anymore. So we've all seen the movies of people starting out and they don't have any idea what they're doing. They are losing every fight. They are failing at battles, and every single anime starts off that way. But recognize that over time, because of every failure, they eventually succeed. And eventually, nobody thinks of them and says, oh, I can beat them so easily. Eventually, when people think of them and they realize that they have to battle them or they have to come up against them, they get nervous. Why? Because that person who started as the underdog is now the champion. A good example that's coming in my mind super clearly is Naruto. That boy failed his test again and again and again. If you watch anime, you might remember that Naruto failed his exam because he couldn't do Shadow Clone Jutsu. Later, he was able to do Shadow Clone Jutsu so well that he was able to put his own spin on it, and it became something that he pulled out every time he needed to win. So something that was his failure became his strength. And that's how it is for an underdog. Every time you fail, it's really leading up to your success because you learn from your failures. When Naruto failed at Shadow Clone Jutsu, he didn't just say, oh, I don't know how to do it. That's it. He trained, and he learned from his mistakes. And the same thing goes for the underdog. So you might start off as the person that nobody knows in your industry. You might start off as the small business no one knows. But remember, there are plenty of businesses that started off as the small business that nobody knows. And now everybody knows them. They are a global corporation. So don't forget that that same thing can happen to you. Not only that, but after a while, you can't afford to look at yourself as the underdog anymore. The underdog is the one that starts off, doesn't know what they're doing, lack resources, they have self-doubt. When you've been in it for a minute, you're no longer the underdog because you do have resources, because you do know what you're doing, because you do trust yourself. When you are no longer the underdog mentality will not serve you. So remember, if you are far into your journey, whether that be a fitness journey, a health journey, a self-care journey, a mindset change journey, whatever the case may be, when you get far enough into it that you know what you're talking about, when you know what you're talking about, you're no longer the underdog. At that point, you have to switch your mindset from, oh, I have to prove it to these people. I got to show myself that I can do it. To reminding yourself, I'm not the underdog anymore. I don't have to operate as the underdog. I don't have to think like the underdog. Now I'm thinking on a bigger level because I'm no longer at that place. I'm not looking down on the underdogs. I'm not looking down on anybody who's starting off in an underdog position. But I just recognize that I'm no longer in it. And that's a beautiful thing. Everybody wants to root for the underdog. But remember, you can still root for yourself and remind yourself, at one point I used to be an underdog. And I'm not anymore. And that is worth celebrating. I want y'all to have a fantastic day. Remember, it's up to you, no one else.